You've tuned in to the Beyond Hope podcast, your access to success strategies and more to help you survive and thrive through your loved one's addiction challenges while you move onward and upward with your life. Now, here's your host, Shar Jones.
Hey everyone, welcome to Beyond Hope Radio Season 2. I am so happy to be talking to you today, and I just want to wish you a happy New Year. Some of you reached out to me over the last couple of months, and I just want to thank you so much for thinking of me. You may have been wondering where I've been, and I've gotten some nudges from you to record, and I just want to say thank you. And I've never forgotten about you, and I'm not bailing on this podcast. But I really struggled with the timing of it all. I was seemingly bumping up against old beliefs and fears and falling into old patterns. Actually, shitty patterns that serve me no good. I wanted to talk about traditions and how hard we push ourselves to recreate old memories, perhaps, memories from a time when things were easier, and how hard that is to do. Realistically, we've changed. Things have changed. Family members and loved ones may no longer be with us. And how hard it is to recreate traditions that no longer serve us, like cutting down a freaking Christmas tree. Why was that so damn hard to do? I mean, that is a tradition that we have always enjoyed. And I want to revisit that with you in a moment. Like, how did I get around that? I wanted to chat with you about some of the clues that may be showing up, that maybe we're stuffing our emotions, and how to identify the warning signs that maybe something's not quite right with us, or maybe we're ignoring some of the signs. And talking to my moms privately for a moment, if anybody else is listening, this is just for my moms, especially my moms who have addicted sons or daughters. You and I both know how good we are at ignoring things that could be right in front of our eyes. Some call it a defense mechanism, but I call it neglect. We're actually neglecting ourselves, our self-care. So let's dive into those couple of topics. Christmas. So I really had it all. I was really excited to talk to you about how to prepare for the holidays and how to take care of ourselves during this time of year. It can be really, really challenging for us especially if we have an addicted loved one who is active in their addiction over the holidays. And I wanted to talk about some of those, as I mentioned, some of those old traditions that we keep trying to recreate and perfect, and how exhausting that is. So as I kept kind of bumping up against these walls and I was unable to really record any meaningful content for you guys, I was getting frustrated. And then after the holidays were over, I tried to go back and record some of the things that I wanted to talk about, and it just wasn't working. So the tree, I have always enjoyed, cutting down the tree, getting a real tree. I just love the smell of it. And it takes me back to when I was a kid, and it makes me think of my mom and dad and my sister when she was little, and even my daughter when she was a baby. I have so many good memories that kind of go hand in hand with having a real tree, and including, vacuuming up all the needles off the floor, bringing in some uninvited critters in my tree, dragging the thing out of the house when it's dead. But anyways, I could not muster up the courage to go out and do it this year. And I was like, as we got closer and closer to the holidays, I hadn't decorated. I hadn't been shopping or wrapping or, any of those things that I typically really enjoy doing, listening to Christmas music, all those things. And I realized after the fact what was going on, and it finally took my husband saying, remember, I still have, I have the artificial tree in the shed. If you want me to bring it up, put the artificial tree up, I'd be happy to do that for you or whatever. And I was like, fine. I've always been so anti fake tree for us for whatever reason. Again, it's just memories from long ago. But this year, as we got closer and closer to Christmas, and I just couldn't seem to get into the spirit. So when my husband offered to go get the artificial tree out of the shed, I was like, fine, do it. Put up the damn fake tree, And then when he did, it was beautiful. And it was just what I needed. I needed to let myself off the hook a little bit. And I finally, after peeling back some layers there, realized that I was neglecting the signs, that I was getting depressed, that I was sad, that I was missing my daughter. And this was the first Christmas where I knew that I was not going to see her and that I may not be able to talk to her. She's away in long-term rehabilitation, and she's been there since October of 2017. So she's been there about 15 months now. And I miss my girl, of course I do. But instead of acknowledging that and acknowledging that I was depressed, I started to fall into old behaviors, old routines of isolating, shutting down. I wasn't sleeping, or I was sleeping too much. I was irritable. I was not very much fun to be around. And it was because I wasn't paying attention to what my body was trying to tell me. I was really wanting to talk about that with you guys, but I didn't even realize how much it was impacting my own life. So the other thing that I was wanting to chat about was just, how do we identify some of those clues that we may be stuffing our emotions and ignoring some of those signs that we're not taking good care of ourselves? So just to touch on that a little bit, I think it's the easiest way to think about it is, if you haven't read the book, The 5 Elements of Well-Being, it breaks it down so simply. There's 5 areas of our lives where we really, if we're providing proper attention to all those areas of our life, then, we're functioning. We're engaged in our life. We're happy. Things are going well. But if we start to shut down, and for me, I was shutting down in all 5 areas. So that would be let's just chat about that really quickly. Our physical health. How are we feeling physically? How are we feeling emotionally? How are we showing up in the world in regards to our relationships, our communities, how we show up in our communities? Are we feeling a sense of accomplishment in the workplace? Are we getting enough rest and feeling, energized in the morning and excited to go to work? And what about our money? Are we taking care of the things that we need to take care of financially? Or are we struggling to put food on the table? And it really takes sitting down and thinking about those things and acknowledging where we may be falling short. And you guys, I was literally shutting down in all 5 areas. And I didn't even really realize it. And I was starting to feel resentful. When people would try to talk to me about how's my daughter, and I have such limited information. She's working her program, right? And I know she's safe, but I only get to hear from her once a month. And that's via a letter, or sometimes I might get a phone call. So when people were asking me, how's my daughter? I would say that she was doing well. And when they would ask me how I'm doing, I was missing her. Obviously, this was our first Christmas where I knew I was not going to be spending time with my daughter. And I love her so much. She's really my heart. And I wasn't respecting or showing myself any type of compassion for what I've been going through. And I felt when I would talk about it, I noticed more often than not, those that I'd be talking to would really try to remind me that, that I should be grateful and that, she's exactly where she needs to be. And I would feel resentful for some reason. This was just like old stuff bubbling up for me where I was like feeling like it's like, who are you telling about all that? Obviously, I know, and I wouldn't want her to be anywhere else. And I know she's exactly where she needs to be. But I'm also, some emotions were coming up for me where I worry about her. Of course, I worry about her, and I miss her, and I love her, and I should feel like I can express those things. But once again, I was, sharing that information with the wrong people. And to be honest with you, this is old stuff for me that I know I've learned the hard way, that it's not my job to try to convince somebody to understand my hurt or what I'm going through. That's my job. And if I need support or someone to go to that understands how I'm feeling, that's when I need to be going to an Al-Anon meeting. That's when I need to be reaching out to my moms out there who understand how I'm feeling. And I didn't do that, you guys. Once again, I was shutting down and I was depressed and I was isolating and I was not sleeping, or I was sleeping too much. I wasn't eating well. I was working too much. I wasn't giving my relationships the time and attention that they deserved. And luckily, I was able to recognize those things so that I could engage and have a really wonderful Christmas. And it was new, and there were new traditions, and that was good. And so I learned these little lessons all of the time. And the ones that repeatedly show up for me in my life are the ones that I really need to pay a little bit more attention to. Thank you again for sticking by me. Happy New Year. And I'm sending you and your loved ones so much love. And with that, I will talk with you soon. You can always reach out to me. You can email me at shar@beyondhoperadio.com or text me at 206-229-0244, and I will respond as soon as I can. Love you guys. Bye for now. Hey everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in and for helping me to connect with other moms of addicts or loved ones who are struggling with addiction in their lives. If you have questions for me, comments, suggestions on future show content, or perhaps there's a specific topic that you would like to hear from an expert in the field, I would love to hear from you. I am also interested in sharing your voice. So if you have messages of hope or personal stories that you think would resonate with our listeners, please send me an email. You can type me out a message, or you can include an attachment to an audio clip with your voice. You can send that to shar@beyondhoperadio.com. And with that, thank you again, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.
Thanks for listening to Beyond Hope. For show notes and more, head on over to beyondhoperadio.com.
A huge thank you to recoveryinnovators.com and James Healy. Thank you so much for putting up with me and for helping me to produce and launch the show. I couldn't have done it without you. You are so awesome. And to anybody else who has been considering working with James, highly recommend him. Please go over to his website and check it out, recoveryinnovators.com.